Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. The husband of Junior Communities Minister with responsibility for housing, Valerie Patterson Yearwood, has been awarded contracts to construct homes for a government spearheaded housing project. Details in this report filed on Thursday.
The Evening News understands that the project falls under the Central Housing and Planning Authority. When contacted, Minister Patterson Yearwood declined to comment at the moment but promised to return a call. However, up to airtime, no response was provided. The issue of the award of the contract to the minister's husband was revealed by opposition leader Bart Jagdeo, who told reporters at his weekly press conference on Wednesday that the matter came to the fore after a construction worker who was subcontracted by the minister's husband complained of not being paid as yet.
Godfrey Yearwood, the husband of the Minister of Housing, who is responsible for housing, got several contracts to build some of these houses. Several. So he brought me the documents and stuff like that. The minister husband, let me repeat, got a contract to build several of their houses, Mr. Godfrey Yearwood. And the gentleman, Mr. Yearwood, then subcontracted these guys from the villages to do their work and then refused to pay them.
According to Jagdeo, the construction worker from Victoria Village, East Coast, Demerara, has since written President David Granger as his last hope, seeking the head of state's intervention in the matter since he too owes his workers.
4 times he addressed the matter and 4 acknowledgements of his complaint, and until now he can't get it. Over a year of trying, 4 acknowledgements. He sought help from the president and no help has been given. And now he can't pay his workers from the village of Victoria. They're harassing him because the minister's husband is refusing to pay him for contract that he got in a ministry that his wife runs.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Malakchand.
On Friday, we reported that the Chief Executive Officer of the Central Housing and Planning Authority, Leland Saul, says there is a conflict of interest regarding the contract awarded to the husband of Housing Minister Valerie Patterson Yearwood to build houses for the ministry. More in this report.
Saul told reporters earlier today on the sidelines of a CH&PA event that while the contract was awarded through a competitive bidding process, it still is a conflict of interest, and as such, he called for a review of the awarding process.
If the contractor in question is the spouse of the minister, certainly it would be a conflict of interest.
How are you going to deal with future contracts?
I wouldn't want to comment on that because, as I said, the award of contract, it's above my level. I think that the board should review that based on recommendation coming from the agency.
Earlier this week, it was revealed that the housing minister's husband, Godfrey Yearwood, was awarded contracts to build houses for a project spearheaded by the CH&PA. That project is still ongoing, and Minister Patterson Yearwood has explained that the contract was awarded to her husband prior to their August 2017 marriage. The issue came to the fore on Wednesday when opposition leader Bart Jagdeo disclosed that Godfrey Yearwood had subcontracted the works and the person whom he hired is complaining of not being paid for works done to date.
Complaint was lodged at the ministry, I think it was sometime last year, and we would have called in both parties and we advised them to settle the issue.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
And finally, with forest oil less than a year away, it is imperative that Guyana has a finalized local content policy ahead of oil production, with clear guidelines on how everyone will benefit. Our senior reporter, Gerald Bryan, spoke with British High Commissioner Gregory Quinn on this matter and filed his report on Saturday.
The High Commissioner was asked about local content on the sidelines of an event on Friday, where he noted the urgency of having a policy in place before first oil. According to Quinn, it should be a prerequisite for Guyana doing business with the international community while ensuring ordinary Guyanese benefit.
We're still waiting, obviously, as to what the local content policy or legislation or whatever will look like. So I think we're still waiting to see what that will be, and I think it's actually quite important that that gets delivered and produced quite quickly so that everybody knows, both on the international business side but also on the local company side, because no good company, no good international company will want to come in here and not do stuff that will benefit the local economy and the local population.
However, Quinn noted that these companies need to know within what framework they can work. Asked about what forms of local content companies should employ, Quinn had this to say.
And it's not just about providing the jobs, but it's also about providing the education and the knowledge and the experience and passing on that so that the people here who are working in the companies can also develop and benefit and develop themselves through the system.
The Energy Department has been collaborating with the private sector in order to draft the local content policy. The initial draft, after being released, was unfavorably critiqued by the Inter-American Development Bank. According to a report from the bank, Guyana's draft was missing critical parts of generally accepted local content principles. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
And that's a wrap on this week's Week in Review. Do join us again on Monday at 19 hours for the evening news. From all of us here at TVG Studios, thanks for watching. Do have a safe and productive week ahead. Goodbye.